Happiness is a state of mind, and having realized that just buying 27 books at my local thrift store saved me over $500, I am above and beyond happy. Following are the titles that I purchased, super excited at all the amazing finds. Hello and welcome to my latest book haul. Today is Sunday, August the 11th. It's a cold, cloudy day here in southwestern Ontario, so the perfect day to head over to my local thrift store. I was actually trying to find Swan Song, but the search for that continues. As you can see, I found plenty of other amazing finds, and I'm so glad that I've been going to my thrift store. I put my money aside before I'm heading over and then just go see what I can find. And I certainly couldn't have pulled this off at Indigo for $80. First, J.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. It's a box set. It was only $10. It's, like many of my books, obviously been read. You can see the spines aren't perfect, but for me, that's okay, as I tend to do that myself. And $10 for all three, excellent price, and I've been wanting to reread them for a while. Another fun find, this is The Copper Scroll. This is by Joel C. Rosenberg. This has to do with the Dead Sea Scrolls. On June 1st, 1956, the New York Times broke a story that captured the imagination of the world. Another Dead Sea Scroll had been found, unlike any before it, describing unimaginable treasures worth untold billions buried in the hills of East Jerusalem and under the holy city itself. This is a fiction Christian suspense. Looking forward to what that's going to be like. And that, of course, ties in with my Da Vinci Code and the Dead Sea Scrolls, all of those books. In keeping with needing to finish my banned book reading, I'm up to 13 out of 24. This will give me 14. Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. Excited, found that for $1. I'd read this years ago. It's another repurchase. Race the Titanic. This is a novel by Clive Cussler. So I'm looking forward to reading that again. This ties in with my interest in the Franklin expedition and other historical things like that. I found Arthur C. Clarke, 2010, Odyssey 2. I may have to put this on hold for a bit because I haven't read 2001, A Space Odyssey. I've seen the movie and it's been a while, so maybe I'll just watch the movie again and get into reading this. And on the front, a daring romp through the solar system and a worthy successor to 2001. That's by Carl Sagan, and I actually found some books by him as I work my way down through here. I also, as it was only $5, decided to pick up Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol. Although I'm not really a fan of the character Robert Langdon, I do like the mystery of codes and symbols and how he weaves them into a story. So those two definitely have a connection. If you haven't heard of Stuart McLean or the Vinyl Café, you're probably not Canadian. If you enjoy clean humor and just silly stories that make you laugh, I definitely suggest checking out Stuart McLean. So I'm looking forward to reading Christmas at the Vinyl Café. This is by Stuart McLean, and I also found a couple of his other Vinyl Café books. I'm very much looking forward to those reads. Although I didn't watch the entire series of the Game of Thrones, I decided to give the books a try, so I just picked up book 1 for now. These are by J.R.R. Martin. My thrift store did have the 4 books of the series, but I decided I'll give book 1 a try first and see if I want to continue on reading it. Let me know in the comments down below if you've read the books or just watched the show, and which did you prefer. Carl Sagan, as I said, found a few of his books, was definitely my hero and got me interested in astronomy. I enjoyed watching his show on, I think it was PBS years ago. This is A Vision of the Human Future in Space, Pale Blue Dot. I'm looking forward to reading this. I haven't read it before. I did have some other Carl Sagan books years ago, but this isn't one of them. I also picked up another Stephen King. This is Needful Things. I haven't read it before, hoping there's no animals in it because that doesn't end well in a King book. Definitely an older copy because this is $7.99. Pretty sure newer prints, it would cost a whole lot more for a book this size. I got it for $3.50. 2 of my favorite authors, Caitlin and John Matthews. This is Encyclopedia, Celtic Wisdom, a Celtic Shaman's Source Book. I love reading their work. I have The Seed of the Soul waiting to be read again. I enjoyed that, so when I saw another book by him, I figured this would be a good read. Another Stuart McLean, Stories from the Vinyl Café. Very much looking forward to those reads, as I know they're a good laugh and just very uplifting. And the third book, The Vinyl Café Notebooks. So glad Penguin has made these works available, not just the classics, but some current works. Selected and re-edited from 15 years of radio show archives, this wonderfully eclectic collection of essays gives a glimpse into the thoughtful mind at work behind the Vinyl Café. Stuart McLean's The Vinyl Café Notebooks runs the gamut from considered reflections to lighthearted opinion and is informed by Stuart's intimate relationship with Canada and Canadians. Whether he's visiting a curling rink in Manitoba or a grave site in Nova Scotia, his observations are absorbing, unexpected, original, and always entertaining. Yes, I'm going to be a busy girl, along with the plans that I have for the channel and these different reads. Another, had to pick it up, not just because it's Carl Sagan, but as I've been reading through, I think it's the UFO books and some others, they've made reference to The Demon-Haunted World by Carl Sagan. Science as a Candle in the Dark. That ties in with this month's UFO readings. Couldn't pass this up when I saw it. One of my favorite historical characters, Abraham Lincoln, vampire hunter, something else I enjoy reading about. I've seen the movie. I'm looking forward to how it compares with the book. Then, because I'm getting into that geeking out, nerdy kind of reading I enjoy, A Brief History of Time from the Big Bang to Black Holes. This is by Stephen Hawking with an introduction by Carl Sagan. I've never read anything by Hawking before. I've certainly heard of him. I know of his different theories, and I'm looking forward to this. I'd also seen another book that was notes to this book. So first I'll see if I can figure it out on my own and then decide whether I need to pick up the Explain It to Me book. The Orion Mystery. This is by Robert Bauval and Adrian Gilbert. I read this book a number of years ago. I borrowed it from the library, but as you can see, it has the pyramids on it, ties in with that whole Da Vinci spiral, figuring things out with ancient Egypt. It ties into astronomy. Orion is a constellation I always look forward to seeing. I enjoyed reading works by Robert Bauval and Adrian Gilbert in their other works as well. So I definitely decided to pick this up, as it will be a great resource and reference as I delve into other things. This author is a first time for me. This is Timothy Good. His name also kept coming up in the different UFO books that I've been reading, so I decided to give him a try. Above Top Secret, the Worldwide UFO Cover-Up. Ooh, is it? We'll find out after I read his book, and there's certainly differing opinions about it. I did read John B. Alexander's UFOs, Myths, Conspiracies, and Realities, so I'm very interested to see how the information from an ex-military person connects into this, connects in with the other books that I've been reading about it. It may end up not being finished until next year, so I may do UFOs again in the following year, but I definitely want to check that out. Of Angel Healing, Invoking the Healing Power of Angels Through Simple Rituals. This is by Claire Nahmad. I picked this up because I have Ask the Angels by Rosemary Ellen Guiley. I also have Healing with Angel Medicine by Joanna Brokus. So I'm curious to see how this author deals with the subject, because if you've watched some of my other videos, you know I like to check and make connections and read different things by different people on the same subject. Another find was The Timekeeper. This is by Mitch Albom. I still need to reread The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. It was a book I very much enjoyed reading. It has connections back to when I was working in schools, and I first met this author through a novel study in an English class. I haven't read this one before. It sounds fascinating. It's about the inventor of the world's clock. People say he's going to be punished because he's trying to measure God's greatest gift. It'll be an interesting read and see how that turns out. Religions of the World. This is a 7th edition. I decided to pick this up because I have a couple other books right now relating to different spirituality. I'm always interested. I'm always curious. I took a course when I was completing my degree in university. And to me, so many of these systems are saying the same thing about love and respecting each other. And it just, I don't know how some of that got so twisted by humans, but sadly it has. But I do enjoy learning about the different belief systems. It will be interesting to see how this compares with the other book that I've picked up on religions, and how those both compare to different things I've come across over the years. That will probably be on hold for a bit, as I'll be delving more into that later. Sylvia Fraser, The Book of Strange, A Thinking Person's Guide to Psychic Phenomena. when I read that, I definitely had to pick it up. I am interested to see what this individual's going to say. 5 years in the making, The Book of Strange is Sylvia Fraser's attempt to come to terms with spiritual and paranormal events in her own life. Informed by first-hand experience of telepathy, precognition, coincidence, psychic healing, multiple personality, and intimations of afterlife survival, Fraser challenges traditional medical, psychological, and religious models as being too narrow to embrace human experiences. She's a lifelong study of philosophy, so I'll be very curious to see what her take is on this compared to Paranormality by Professor Weissman. And we're almost to the bottom. We're at the last two. Joseph Campbell, another author that I enjoy with mythology, Myths to Live By. I picked this up because at the back it says, what is a properly functioning mythology and what are its functions? Can we use myths to help relieve our modern anxiety, or do they foster it? In Myths to Live By, Joseph Campbell explores the enduring power of the universal myths that influence our lives daily and examines the myth-making process from the primitive past to the immediate present, returning always to the source from which all mythology springs, the creative imagination. This book is of particular interest because I think about when I was reading with the Franklin expedition, had people listened to the Inuit, they would have found the ships much sooner. Other books that I'm reading, in particular related to the ranch in Utah, there's the mythology and the oral tradition of the Native American people in that area. And so often myths get written off simply as fantasy and not real, but maybe it's because reading Sitchin and so many others, when people stop and really think about the myths and the folklore and the different information and things we have learned because of that, I think it's important to pay attention. So I'm very curious to see what Joseph Campbell has to say. And of course, this may also tie in with Carl Jung and the archetypes and the collective unconscious. That comes up in so many other things. The last book that I picked up is Energy Medicine. This has a foreword by Carolyn Miss. And this is Donna Eden with David Feinstein. Now, I'm pretty sure I have this book, but the reason I picked it up is that now that I have 2 copies, and I'm sorry if you're watching this, Noah, I can cut one up and use it when I'm doing the different exercises versus having to keep flipping the page. So basically, I got this one as a duplicate because even though, yes, I make notes and highlight and dog ear and all that kind of stuff, it's so much easier if you're trying to do an exercise program, having the pictures right in front of you instead of always trying to have the book with you. And yes, part of how I got this for $80 was a nice discount, which was awesome and totally unexpected. So many thanks for that.
And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
25, 26, 27 books for $80. A number of them are hardcover, above top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them are hardcover. The rest are paperbacks. So I found some humor, some tie-in to my UFO reading right now, some fiction that I want to get back into, fantasy, tie-ins with the Da Vinci Code spiral from 2 years ago that I'm eventually going to get back to and have content on, follow up with different belief systems with the paranormal, mythology, ties in with the banned book project, space, just so many wonderful finds. And yes, I will be behaving because now I have to add all of these to my master list of books. I just finally added my other little thrift store haul a few days ago. So before these go on the shelves and before I can start reading them, I need to add them to my master list. I hope you enjoyed my latest Save My Pennies and Went Out and Spent Them book haul video. Let me know if you've read any of the authors that I've mentioned or the titles. Are there books from some of these authors that you would recommend? For example, have you read The Game of Thrones, and is it a series worth continuing on after book 1? Are you a fan of Dan Brown and his books? Because I know there's a couple more even after The Lost Symbol. I'm just not sure if I'm going to go on with those. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you enjoy content of a bookish nature, nature videos, or silly cats, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload content that may be of interest to you. And until next time, happy thrifting and take good care.